Hey guys, welcome to another crocheting video. Yes, I am finally back with another one after so long, so hooray for that. Today I will be recreating the infamous lilac cardigan that Kendall Jenner wore back in 2019. I actually saw this first in Tiffany Liu's video where she recreated it as well, and I thought that it was really cute, which made me want to make one for myself. Except the original is actually knitted, and lucky for me, I don't know how to knit. But fortunately, I found a crochet tutorial of this cardigan by Chenda DIY on YouTube. If you're into crocheting, I'm sure you are familiar with her channel. She has tons of beautiful crochet pieces and tutorials which are definitely worth checking out. So Chenda's tutorial is what I will be following. I did not make this pattern up. I did change some minor things, but all credit for the pattern goes to her. I also made the necessary adjustments I needed so that the cardigan would fit me better. Of course, I will be leaving the link to her video in the description box if anyone is interested. So here are the materials that I used. I used approximately 570 grams of 5-ply milk cotton yarn in this really pretty lilac color. And for the majority of the cardigan, I used a 5mm crochet hook and only changed to 4mm when I did the button band / the neck ribbing. Next, I also used some darning needles, 3 of these white buttons, tape measure and scissors, stitch markers, and lastly, green and white yarn for the embroidered flowers. I thought I'd also share the sizes of my panels. They are slightly bigger than what Chenda made in the tutorial since my body type is different from hers. Also, since this is just my process of making this cardigan, if something doesn't really make sense, I suggest watching Chenda's video to clear things out. Trust me, things will make sense if you watch the tutorial, especially when she explained everything quite nicely. So with that being said, let's get started with the crocheting. The first time I made the front panel, I tried to exactly follow the tutorial, thinking that my panel would turn out bigger since I was using a slightly thicker yarn and hook. But my yarn was still fairly similar to what Chenda used, so the width of my panel turned out to be almost the same size as hers when I actually wanted it to be bigger. When I put it up against my body, the panel was really small, but since I had already made a good amount of progress, I really tried to convince myself that it's okay for it to be this small and not to redo it anymore, but I knew that it was going to bother me in the future, so as you see here, I still ended up unraveling all the work I had done and decided to start again. This time I added more stitches so that the panel would be wider. Instead of the original foundation chain of 29, I chained 35 for mine. So here is my progress so far. I think the panel looks better now that it's bigger. It actually looks like it could fit me now, and the cable stitches, I don't know if that's what you actually call the twists, but they're also looking pretty good. They were quite confusing to make sometimes just because you had to go through over and under different crochet posts, but I managed to pull through. To be honest, I actually had second thoughts whether 8 inches width was good enough to fit me. It was actually my first time making this type of cardigan, so then again, I was pretty much just winging it throughout the process. I was really just hoping that everything would turn out well in the end, and I'm glad that I was not disappointed. After finishing all of the cable stitches, I just had to crochet more rows of plain half double crochets to complete the panel. Since I didn't want my cardigan to be too cropped, I added a few more rows to make it longer, and in the end I had a total of 50 rows. Also, it's kind of funny to me that I keep making cardigans when I live in a tropical country. The Philippines has its colder areas, yet I'm not even from those places. And as I edit this video, it has been getting really, really hot, especially in the peak of the afternoon. You could definitely feel the summer heat coming in. as you can see here, I had this cropped denim jacket that I liked the length and the fit it had on me, so I kind of used it as my guide when I was making the front panels. After finishing the left front panel, I proceeded to make the right piece. It follows pretty much the same process except that the right panel is the mirrored version of the left. So this is how much I've done for the right front panel. I basically did the same thing as the left one, except I started with one half double crochet, then the cable stitch, and 5 half double crochets in the middle and the other cable stitch, and then 15 half double crochets in the end, whereas the left one I started with 15 cable stitch, then 5, then cable stitch, and 1 in the end. I hope that makes sense, but if you watch the tutorial that I'm following, yeah, I hope it will make sense. Also, as I was crocheting the panel, the end was slightly curling because of the cable stitch, but that problem was solved after I had added the ribbing towards the end. But if you want to avoid the curling, just make sure you don't make your stitches so tight. As I finished up the right front panel, you could see here that I was listening to the songs from Encanto because during this time, I had just watched the movie and the songs are so catchy. Of course, the oh-so famous We Don't Talk About Bruno stole the show for me just like it did for a lot of other people. Here is what both the panels are looking like after I had finished them. Afterwards, I then started working on the back panel to match the sizes of both front panels while also including space for the neck ribbing in the middle. I chained 81 for the foundation chain of my back panel. And since we had to skip 2 chains, one row had a total of 79 half double crochets. And let me tell you, a single row took me so long to finish because it had so many stitches. By the time I reached the end of one row, I was already tired, but then I had no choice but to keep going for the rest of the panel. But yeah, nothing much happened for the back panel. Really just a bunch of rows of half double crochets. I just needed to add the shoulder parts as you see me doing here, and then I moved on to crocheting the sleeves. Now, this method of making the sleeves was new to me since we're starting from the sleeve cuffs and directly crocheting the sleeves from them. That part was quite challenging for me, mainly because I was slightly confused where I needed to insert my hook between the ribbing stitches, but it's okay. I eventually got through it, and by the time I got to my second sleeve, I pretty much got the hang of it already. Also, say hi to baby Tata. I received him as one of my exchange gifts with my club team last Christmas, and he's really cute. One of the things I enjoy about the entire crocheting process is that I get to watch any video or movie as sort of like my background noise while I crochet, but the thing is, it has to be something that I had already watched, because if it's like an entirely new movie for me, then I just cannot not look at the screen. Like, I would really have to be focused on the movie, if that makes sense. I don't know, but just having that background noise while I crochet or draw really just sets the atmosphere for me. Is anyone else like that? Anyways, after finishing the 2 sleeves, I have all parts of the cardigan completed. So to give you an idea, here is how the pieces will look like all together. Now it's time to sew the different panels, starting off with the shoulder area that connects the front and the back. Having the panels facing the wrong side out, I'm just placing them together like this. And I have my darning needle here, and I'm actually going to use double pull yarn. I'm not really sure if that's the right term, but I'm using 2 strands of yarn just because I think it will be stronger compared to just 1 strand. And unlike the tutorial where Chenda used slip stitches to join the panels, I'm going to use the invisible seam stitch. So as you can see in the video, I am inserting my needle only into the outside loops of the 2 panels. And as my needle comes out of one side, I insert my needle into the next stitch on that same side. In this case, if I went from up to down, my next stitch is going from down to up. Once the seams are all sewn together, it will look like this. It looks really good. If you're looking more into this sewing method, I'll also leave a link in the description box to an actual tutorial of the invisible seam stitch. And yeah, I just did the exact same thing to the other side. So before attaching the sleeves to the body of the cardigan, I decided to embroider the flowers first. I really think that the flowers pulled the overall look together and just gave the cardigan that extra oomph. They don't really look too good from the inside, but no one has to see that. As long as they look good from the outside, then we're totally fine. Also, guys, as I'm recording this voiceover, we have just reached 4,500 subscribers, which is insane for me to wrap my head around. I can't even express the amount of gratitude I feel. Thank you so much to everyone for the love and support that you have given to this channel. I really can't believe that I reached this milestone in such a short amount of time. So really, thank you. Thank you also for patiently waiting for my videos. I still have quite a few things planned, especially crochet content. They will take a while before I get to upload them since I'm very busy with university and just, life in general. Plus, crocheting and editing a video takes countless of hours for me to finish. Can't even imagine. But either way, I hope you guys will still continue to support me. So yeah. Thank you so much. And I'm also very happy to announce that I finally made an Instagram account dedicated for my crafts, which includes crocheting. So shameless plug, it's at winter.blooms. So give it a follow if you want to or if you feel like it. So I have finished embroidering the flowers on the 2 sleeves, and I had also embroidered the flowers on the front panel as well. And they're looking like this. And to be honest, the flowers were so time consuming to do. It was not very enjoyable for me. It took me so long to finish all of them, but at least I got that out of the way. And now I have to attach the sleeves to the body of the cardigan, and then I can crochet the ribbing, add the buttons, and I'll be done. Okay, I didn't film it, but I actually already attached one of the sleeves to the body of the cardigan, and I thought I attached it like right in the center of the sleeve where it folded, but now that I align the front panel to the bottom of the back panel, and when the sleeves fold over, it does not match up, so that's kind of a problem. So I think I have to remove all of the sewing that I did and sew them together again. I actually thought it was going so nicely, but turns out there's a slight miscalculation, so I might have to take note of that and sew it again. Yay! So I have successfully detached the sleeve from the body of the cardigan. It didn't really take too much time to remove all of the stitches. It was just kind of painful to have to redo everything, you know. But now I can start sewing them together again, and hopefully I will do it right this time. I added some stitch markers into where I want to position the sleeve before I sew it in. This time I made sure that the number of rows from the sleeve until the end of the front panel matches the number of rows from the sleeve till the end of the back panel. That way it will match up when we sew them together later on. So I have finished attaching the sleeves to the body of the cardigan, and as you can see, it's much better now. The sleeves actually line up when you fold them over together like this, and both of them are looking good. So that's one thing that you need to take note of when you want to make your own cardigan. So now I just have to sew in the seams of this part here, and then we can add the ribbing. So making sure that my cardigan is facing the wrong side out, I'm now going to attach the two sleeve cuffs first together. And unlike the rest of the seams, this one I'm going to slip stitch the last row of the foundation chain and into the back loops of that last row of single crochets. So that's the only slip stitch I'm going to be doing, and the rest of the seams that I have to sew, I'm going to do the mattress stitch with the darning needle. The main reason why I decided to do a slip stitch join for the sleeve cuffs was because I thought that it would be more suitable in a way that it would be less seamless. No, wait, that doesn't make sense. It would be seamless. It would be more seamless. Okay, but again, aside from that, all the other seams were joined with the invisible seam stitch. Also, do you guys prefer it if I do more voiceovers, or is it better if I talk directly within the clips, or just no talking at all? I'm trying to see which works best, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Okay, so I have finished all of the sewing that I needed to do. My cardigan's pretty much in one piece, and it's looking like a cardigan. So moment of truth. Let's see if this will fit me nicely. I'm just gonna flip it inside out. I have not sewn in any of the ends yet, so there's a lot of loose tails right now. It's okay. It's really short. It's really short. It's really cropped. Okay, it's really hot right now, but I'll wear this anyway. Ah, this is so cropped. Yo, oh, whoa, whoa. Okay. This is what the cardigan is looking like. Not too bad. It's really short because obviously it's cropped, so I don't know what I expected. I'm just not used to cropped clothes, so yes. I don't know what I want to think about it right now, but I'm gonna trust the process. I still have to do the ribbing, So I think the cardigan would look better if it's already finished, but I think it's looking good, right? So here in the next clip, I'm obviously not at home. My family actually went on an overnight trip to a resort with some of my family relatives, and of course, I had to bring my crochet project with me to still get some work done. During the 2 to 3 hour drive, I actually worked on weaving in most of the tails. So here I'm just working on the bottom ribbing that goes around the entire cardigan. Also, say hi to my cousins as they make their cameo appearance in this time lapse. Nagpo-viral yan sa joke.
Guwapo kasi.
Sino po yung naka-white?
Ano po FB account?
Okay, so hey guys, I had just finished the bottom ribbing. It looks like that. I think it looks pretty good. It's much less cropped than it was before because of the 2 inches that were added from the ribbing. I think the length is still pretty decent. I like it. So all I have to do is the button band, and I have to add the buttons, and I'll be done. So now I'm back at home again, and here you can see me working on the button band. In the tutorial, Chenda no longer added the buttons, but I decided to follow the original cardigan and still add them. I also changed hook sizes at this point, mainly due to the sizes of the buttonholes. If I had used the 5mm crochet hook, the buttonhole would have either been too big or too small, so using a smaller hook seemed to have been the best option that I had to get the right size. Okay, so I have just finished crocheting the entire button band, and I think it's looking really good. And I've also already finished sewing in all of the loose tails, so that's done. Now all I have left to do is sew in the buttons, and I'm actually going to be using thread instead of yarn to sew them in because the smallest darning needle I have cannot fit through the holes of these buttons, so I have to use a smaller needle, so I have to use just normal thread. After sewing in the buttons, my cardigan is finally finished. This took me over a month to make, especially because I was crocheting it on and off since I became very busy due to schoolwork, but nevertheless, I'm really happy that I finally got around to finishing it. I love how this cardigan turned out, and I am so happy with the final results. I think it looks better than what I expected, and I think everything looks really good, and it's just making me more excited to wear it out. What do you guys think of it? Feel free to share your thoughts down below. So yeah, I think this concludes today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching my process as I crocheted this not so cropped version of the Kendall Jenner cardigan. Also, make sure to go check out the amazing tutorial by Chenda DIY. If you enjoy these types of videos from me, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next one. Bye guys!